This program is brought to you by realestate.com.au. Reach more potential buyers with a Luxe listing.
Thanks for being with us here on Business Now. Let's go around the country and check out the weekend auction results. It seems clear there's a resurgence in Melbourne and Canberra. Adelaide also remains very strong. Across the country, 1,326 auctions, just under 66% of those were sold. Sydney seems a bit off the boil. 473 auctions, just 61% of those successful. In Melbourne, 517 auctions, a clearance rate there strong, as I say, 73%. In Brisbane, 67 auctions, just under 63% sold. Adelaide had another good weekend, 61 auctions, 72% of those cleared. In Canberra, there were 37 auctions and 31% of those were sold. But look, let's take a look at the Melbourne market in particular. It's definitely been lagging, but appears to be coming back fast. Eleanor Creagh is a senior economist with REA Group, and I caught up with her a little earlier.
So we've seen really a significant period of underperformance when it comes to Melbourne's housing market, and actually home prices had hit their lowest value relative to Sydney in more than a decade, actually almost 2 decades. And that's after really that significant period of underperformance that we'd seen in Melbourne. We know that Melbourne really underperformed through the pandemic, but it also underperformed in the years since. So actually over the past 5 years, we've seen that home prices in Melbourne have only lifted by around 20%. Compare that to some of the stronger performing capital cities like Brisbane, Adelaide, Perth, where prices are up around 90% over the past 5 years. And you can really start to put into perspective that significant underperformance that we've seen in Melbourne's housing market, which as a result of that lower growth has seen Melbourne really drop back in the rankings of our most expensive capital cities. And in Brisbane, Adelaide and Perth all overtaking Melbourne in the past couple of years in terms of the value of homes. However, we are starting to see a bit of a turnaround in Melbourne's housing market. We're seeing that clearance rates have picked up and home price growth has certainly picked up in Melbourne this year. Although price growth is still relatively modest, prices up around 1.5% over the past year.
OK, but then there's one other part about this, because with migration rates having increased significantly, Melbourne's population has soared to more than Sydney. So you would think longer term, with more people moving into Melbourne becoming a bigger city, that should also start to dictate that flow of property prices as well.
I think that's exactly right. I mean, if you look at the big picture, despite that period of underperformance, or given that period of underperformance, we're seeing that home values in Melbourne are significantly undervalued relative to Sydney, relative to the other capital city markets. And actually, Victoria is the state forecast to have the strongest population growth out to 2030. So Melbourne's market is probably primed for a more consistent and lengthy turnaround when it comes to housing market conditions, and primed for an uptick in investor activity as well, just given how those fundamentals are going to stack up over the coming years. So I think you're exactly right in kind of positing there that we could see that this period of underperformance, which is now slowly reversing in Melbourne, is likely set to continue.
OK, just a quick one. The rates decision tomorrow from the Reserve Bank is clearly important for owners and investors, but potentially even developers as well.
Certainly, we know that higher financing costs have been one of the factors that have, I guess, stunted activity when it comes to development and new housing supply. And with interest rates coming down, and of course, housing demand also being buoyed by the fact that interest rates are coming down, we're seeing that confidence, home buying demand and housing market momentum is building this year with lower interest rates. That's likely to stimulate not only activity in the housing market with respect to home price growth and home buying activity, but also development activity as well.
I'll tell you what, Eleanor Creagh, always good to have you in the program. Many thanks for your time today.
Thank you for having me.